Hey Cactus friends, it's Jenny from Cookies Cacti. We are outside under the pergola and I am pointing my camera to the Copiapoa seedlings that are here on the shelves. Today we are going to go through a tour of my Copiapoa seedlings. And the reason why we are doing this is because we just passed the 3-year anniversary of Cookies Cacti's YouTube channel. On March 29th, 2022, I published my first YouTube video, and that video was on my Copiapoa seedlings. At that time, my oldest Copiapoa seedling had just turned 9 months old, and then I believe I was featuring some other seedlings that had turned 4 months old. So many of those Copiapoa seedlings that we saw in that first video are still alive today, although some of them are also not alive anymore. And then there is a whole set of other batches of Copiapoa seedlings on this shelf. So they're just all over the place. We even have the seedlings from my series on A Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed. So there are a number of Copiapoa that came from that series as well that are still on these shelves. It is a little bit difficult to structure this video because the seedlings are kind of mixed all over the place. There isn't really an order or organization that I place these pots of seedlings, so they're all mixed together, all the different batches. And my poor memory doesn't really remember for a lot of these which of these plants came from which batch, unless I can look at the back of the labels, but there's no way that we're going to turn all of these labels around and read the back of them. So we're just going to do the best that we can. So in honor of our 3-year anniversary, I'm going back to basics. I am on my old camera, which I used on that first video, and for many of the videos that followed afterwards. I never thought that I would continue doing YouTube content like this for multiple years, but look, here we are. Back when we first started, things were really simple. I had this camcorder, no editing software, no external mic, and I mean, it kept things simple for sure, kind of a lot easier on me. But over all these 3 years, we have kind of grown together and becoming a little bit more sophisticated in video production. Just a little bit, but there's still a lot more to learn. And that's really what makes me keep coming back as well, because not only are we constantly learning about these plants, but I'm also learning about video making, video production, and YouTube itself. So what I'm thinking is that we're going to kind of go through the Copiapoa seedlings, perhaps all of them to some degree, but I'm going to start over here with this Copiapoa lambeckii KK70. This is Mesa Garden seed catalog number 85.71. And the reason why I want to start here is because this is one of those oldest Copiapoa seedlings that I have that's still alive. So from that first video that I published, I believe there were 7 pots of my oldest Copiapoa seedlings. Unfortunately, as some of you saw last summer, I lost many of my Copiapoa seedlings, including the majority of those from the oldest batch, which was very, very sad. But there are 2 seedlings left there, and this is one of them. It's starting to have that Copiapoa calderana look to it. And it took years for it to achieve that for me. So it's like a little tiny mini version of the adult form now. And you can see, let me zoom in. That's the nice thing about this camera is we can zoom. You see that farina that's starting to develop? That waxiness? That's what we want. That's really nice. And I love how on the aerials, it's so fuzzy and it's got that golden color there. Really loving the look of this plant. I'm a big fan of calderana, and I'm pretty happy that one of my seedlings is starting to achieve that classic calderana look. As of now, this seedling is 3 years and 9 months old. Let me show you the other one, the other survivor of this oldest batch. This is the other Copiapoa lambeckii KK70 that has managed to survive. It is a sibling of that other plant that we just saw, and it's sitting in an AZ Veronica mixed pot, which you can kind of see. Look at those dark black spines. This one doesn't seem to have as much farina as the other plant, and you can see it looks a little bit different. Who knows why? It also has kind of that golden hair along the areoles, but the spines are very dark. They're practically black, at least when I look at it with my eyes. So another survivor, 3 years and 9 months old. Now in that first Copiapoa video that I published, I was featuring my 9-month-old Copiapoa seedlings and then a bunch of my 4-month-old Copiapoa seedlings at that time. And the nice thing is that many of those 4-month-old seedlings are still alive today. I'm pointing my camera right now to a bunch of I think these are all Coquimbanas, probably a mix of multicolor, pendulina, and then just classic Coquimbana. And the ones that I'm pointing to, these with the very, very spiny bodies, are seedlings from that 4-month-old batch at that time. So these seedlings are 3 years and 4 months old. It took a lot of time for those spines to thicken up to this degree, if you can see. It's really interesting. A lot of these plants, they kind of start off looking like one thing, and then they change as they get older. Let me show you some more from that batch, that 4-month batch. Here's some more. And then there's some in here that I don't even know if it belongs to that batch. I don't know if these are, I believe these are, oh, these are tall lenses. Let me see what from January 2022. Yes, these are from that 4-month-old batch as well from that first video. That's the thing, I have to read all the labels to know which batch they belong to. It's just not doable. More Coquimbana types. These are some humilis that were in that video as well. And I don't remember if Olivana was in that video. But here are the surviving Olivana. I did lose some of their siblings in that die-off from last summer, unfortunately. But I still have a number of them that are still alive. By the way, when you look at these humilis, I haven't been very good about collecting seed. So let me see if I can... See? It's a bunch of seeds in the seed pods that I haven't collected. More over here as well. These are all Mesa Garden seeds. The humilis bloomed the soonest for me. I can't remember if they were 2 or 3 years old when they started blooming, but these humilis were the first to bloom. And then the other ones that followed closely behind are the Olivana. You can see the spent flowers on the Olivana as well. On the other hand, all the Calderanas, the Lembeckis, the Desertorums, basically everything else, the Coquimbanas, none of them have bloomed yet. These two right in front of the camera right now are Copiapoa wagonectii, looks like KK58, seed catalog 85.98. These were also featured in that first video. They were 4 months old at that time. So they are 3 years and 4 months old now. And these, I believe, also belong to that Coquimbana species. But you can see those really thick spines. Took time for this to develop like this. And its sibling here on the right is growing very interestingly. When I went over, I think I had a video featuring a bunch of my seedlings with mutations, and this was one of them. It has 3 growing points on it. You can see that. This managed to survive my horrendous die-off last summer as well, thank goodness. A very interesting plant. Let's see what else we have here. This is Coquimbana imbricata. I don't see a seed catalog. Looks like I did not do a good job of labeling. But their spines are this really dark color. I bought these seeds kind of sight unseen, meaning that there were no pictures of this plant, so I had no idea what it would look like. But you can see compared to the wagonectii next to it, these have really dark spines. I actually think that this is a very cool form of Coquimbana. I'll also mention you see that some of these seedlings have these scars on them, that orange marking. I find that Coquimbana seem to be susceptible to rust fungus or some type of fungus that has that orange color. I don't find that the fungus ends up killing the plant, but it definitely messes up the look. But I don't really care. You can see how cool those spines are. Behind these are a whole bunch of mix of different Copiapoa seedlings, probably from different batches, in which I can't remember which ones belong to which batch. Oh well. Some of these don't even have labels on them, so I don't even know what they are. Bad Jenny. I think I got lazy at one point, or I thought, oh, you know, I only have so many seedlings, I can tell which one is which. No, not a good idea. Highly recommend to label where you can. There's more examples of Copiapoa lembeckii here. This one I can actually see the back of the label. Let's see what it says. This was sowed. Oh, this is one of those 4-month-olds from the first video. So this is 3 years and 4 months old. It says it was sowed on January 27th, 2022. Nice. So these are some of my early Copiapoa seedlings. This is Copiapoa cinerea. I only have 2 Copiapoa cinerea seedlings. This is one of them. The color is interesting. You see how dark purple it is? These seeds were purchased off of somebody on Instagram. I struggle with cinerea. For some reason, they seem to be rot prone with me, but I was also trying a different method of seed sowing at that time, and I think it kind of went wrong. I bought 100 seeds and only 2 seedlings are left, but I'll take it, it's fine. Let me show you the other one. This is the other cinerea seedling. This one's got that waxy farina on it, more so than the other one. Even though they're grown under the same condition, in the same environment, but they're developing differently, which is interesting. Let me see how far up I can zoom. Look at that. It's that ghosty white that we're all looking for. Next to that is my Copiapoa columna alba. I forgot what the KK number is. This is a Mesa Garden seed. It is my solo surviving columna alba. I sowed a pack, I think, of 10 seeds. 6 came up, and then they just kept dying off, and this is the only one that's left. I don't remember how old this is, but this was probably sowed a while back. It's very small, but I don't care. I'm just glad that it's alive. Oh, I just noticed my Caput Medusae is about to bloom. Cool. I don't think I've ever seen this bloom like this before. Let's see what else we've got here. This one is a really cool Copiapoa seedling. I have no label in this pot. I don't know what it is, and I don't know when I sowed it, which is great. Isn't that wonderful? But it is beautiful. Let's see, we've got more lembeckii, got a Grandiflora, more Grandiflora, probably some coquimbanas, but I don't remember what kind. More coquimbana. You can see that very thick spine. I love that look. That brown spine. Here's the next tray. You can already tell which ones are coquimbana by now, probably. Yeah, these were all featured in that very first video. These were not, though. These are lembeckii, but I did a terrible job of not labeling it again. Most likely it comes from the same batch as this, so let's see. What is this? Sowed September 12th, 2022. These were featured in my video of a lazy way to grow cactus from seed. These were not the ones that we grew from that series, but they were featured as like an older set of seedlings in that video series. So they'll turn 3 this year, assuming that I don't murder them. What else do we have here? I think that's Grandiflora. Yep, Grandiflora. Can I tell how old it is? These are from, I guess, my second batch of Copiapoa seedlings. So this is 3 years and 4 months old. I lost some of these in that die-off last year too. I think my biggest ones, they all died. This is a Copiapoa bridgetzi. I think I see 83.5 on the label. For some reason, this pack of bridgetzi, I think it's Echinoides bridgetzi, they had an unusually high number of strange seedlings that came up. Let me show you another pot of these. This pot is also Echinoides bridgetzi. Look at this seedling. It's spiraling. Even its neighbor here, you see, there's some spiraling going on there too. So for some reason, this seed pack had a higher rate of strange seedlings that came up. There's more I'll show you in just a bit, but this is probably the most pronounced on that spiraling. Very, very strange. Here's another pot. Seedlings from that same Echinoides burgetsi batch. You see that? Isn't that weird? And another pot of those. Also some strangeness on it. This seedling as well. I had a theory was that Cookie had radioiodine therapy for her hyperthyroidism, and I was placing pots of my seedlings next to her when she was the most radioactive when she first came home from the therapy. And I don't know if these seedlings were part of those pots that I put next to her. So that's my own little conspiracy theory, but I doubt that it's true. But see, this is a pot, same batch, but I think they all look normal. I can't really see it well. I'm holding my camera up close, but I can't see the plants myself. These are all Copiapoa lembeckii. You see how this pot has no label, which is wonderful, whereas the pot behind it was part of my second oldest batch. So these are 3 years, 4 months old. And then there's a mix of other ones that came from that Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed series. It's all mixed together, but these are all lembeckii. You can see I have quite a few of them. I think they are really beautiful. Their seeds were very affordable at Mesa Garden, and they came up fairly well, which is why I have so many of them, because they're very attractive, they're inexpensive, and they're fairly easy to grow for me. Farina. This is probably Coquimbana here. Look, one of these guys looks like it, oops, sorry about my shadow. Looks like it got damaged at the top, and then it grew a pup out of the top. Maybe that's a little easier to see. I don't know. Look at these lembeckis. They're kind of very compact and fat. I love that look. More lembeckis. These are, this one is a different seed pack number. It's 85.713. It's Lembeckii var magnifica, KK1393. I have a whole bunch of these. And the bad part is I didn't label everything. So some of these pots, I don't know if they are the var magnifica or if they're just the KK70s. Very bad. This is something different. What is this? These are Copiapoa molecula, in which I cannot read the label, but I think you might be able to from the video. I really like molecula. I think they might be a form of humilis. I could be wrong, but this form I really, really like. And I'll have some more examples of them as we keep going through these trays. More lembeckis, some good growth there. This is probably, this is rupestris. You can probably see the catalog number on the label, but I can't. Oh wait, I can. 85.8885. You see that bottom left plant? It's a little bit etiolated. This is an interesting, I guess, characteristic that I saw this year, that over the winter, these guys were actively growing, especially near the end of the winter. And I felt like the light intensity wasn't strong enough for them at that time. And because they were growing so fast and the light intensity wasn't enough, then they were starting to etiolate. Because I actually have 2 layers of shade cloth up there, but I couldn't just go and remove it because the other plants that are in here didn't need it. So it's almost like I need a separate space just for the Copiapoa, but I can't do that. So that was kind of interesting, because look at that. See the top of that Coquimbana? Same thing, as a little bit of etiolation, and you can see the light color with the new growth. So the Copiapoa seedlings for me seem to be off cycle from the other genus. So they're actively growing in the wintertime, needing more light, whereas everything else is more dormant, and they need the, they need more intensity in the summer, which I don't know. This tray has a bunch of, let's see, Coquimbana. This is KK1388. Well, you can actually see the sow dates on these. So a bunch of these came from that second batch of oldest seedlings, 3 years and 4 months old. Look at the difference in the spine colors. This one's more golden. These are more black or dark brown. More Lembeckis. This one is... Oh, we've encountered a pot from our A Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed series. This is Copiapoa pepiniana var federleriana. These we grew from seed in that series. They're still alive. And I have not repotted them. So it is now 2.5 years later from when we did the sowing in that A Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed series. So here they are, 2.5 years later. These are growing kind of slow, but as long as they're still alive, I'm okay with it. I don't know if these other pots came from that series. It's possible, but I can't read the label, or the back of the label. As you can see, that is my single surviving Cranesiana seedling. Everything else died. It's so sad. See, that more examples of that etiolation. Even more Coquimbana types. Yeah, lots of Coquimbana. If you remember in that first video on this channel, there were a number of seedlings that I planted directly into a 1020 tray because they were growing quickly. I think these were part of those seedlings. They do grow quickly. I mean, look at this. Left hand side, Coquimbana. Right hand side, the Calderana Lembeckis. Look at that growth rate difference. Of course, they belong to different batches, but you can kind of see that trend. I mean, even if we take some larger seedlings of the Lembeckis and we compare it to the Coquimbanas next to them, yeah, they grow at different rates, different shapes as well. So here's the second shelf down, more Copiapoa. So we are one shelf down from the top that we were just looking at. A whole bunch of these I think are Lembeckis, and many of these were featured in that A Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed series. Some of these were sowed in that A Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed series. Some of these were featured in that series. This pot has some larger seedlings. These are in 3¼ inch pots. That guy is really chubby. See that? Developing well. Well, these are all over 2 years old. This is Copiapoa, is it Megariza var echinata? This one? And this is part of that Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed series that we grew from seed. It's doing well. More Lembeckis, more Lembeckis. Some of these have some nice farina. Sometimes farina and dust are kind of hard to differentiate because it's very dusty here. But definitely some farina. I really love Lembeckis. You can also see in the center of that plant, that light green, a little bit of etiolation that had just started. So I pulled these trays out a bit to get out from under the shade of the trays from above. And I pushed these trays in. So like almost a tiering. Oh, you can kind of see here how the trays down there are pulled out. Yeah, they needed more light. So now you can see they're actually getting light on them. That most likely is two different species mixed together. Probably Grandiflora on the right, Lembecki on the left. More seedlings. Here you can see some more signs of that etiolation I'm talking about. Well, now they get to touch the sun. And the UV intensity is really bumping up now. So that 2 layers of shade cloth shouldn't be a problem with our summertime UV. This is Pendulina, one of my larger seedlings that managed to survive that horrific die-off. This one is Coquimbana. Not the happiest. It's been kind of deflated like that. So what I should do is take it out of the pot and take a look at the roots, but now it's getting really hot. It's about 100 degrees right now. I don't want to disturb it. That's my plan this year, to try to not to kill my seedlings again, is to leave them alone when it's so hot. Just the Copiapoa though. Another example of a seedling that's not super happy looking, but alive, so I'll just leave it alone. More Lembeckis. Many of these are probably from our Lazy Way to Grow series. This is Megarrhiza var echinata, so definitely from our Lazy Way to Grow series. This one as well. Actually, many of these, except this one. This is not from that series. I have a smattering of pots over here as well. Lambeckis. One of my favorites, if not my favorite. Those are all the Copiapoa seedlings on the shelves over here. I have more here on the table. Let me turn around. Mammillaria lentas in bloom. Oh my gosh, how pretty is that? So delicate. There's fruit sticking out as well. Why don't we start here? Because I almost forgot about these. These are the Copiapoa hypogea that I featured in my Copiapoa hypogea video. If you remember at the time that we repotted them in that video, some of them were looking deflated and I couldn't understand why. We moved them into a new soil, we put them outside here, and you can see that they are plumping up. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them are. These are all Barcatensis. That one's looking a little deflated. Maybe it needs water? I don't know. These are the lizard skin. These were also deflated when we did the repotting. They're looking a lot better. I don't know what it is. The soil or being outside. I don't know. Alright, then there's a whole bunch of mixes. This is Molecula, so another example of it. Look how beautiful that is. More Molecula. Another example. I think these are all Molecula. Yeah, they are. I've seen a couple of Molecula that were mature in real life. I think at Cliff's house he had one. He may have even entered it into the show. I love the look of the mature Molecula. I don't know if I'll be so lucky to get hopefully some of these to that maturity level, but we'll see. This Molecula is interesting because do you see to its side? These plants have not flowered, so it's impossible that those are seedlings. So I'm almost certain that those are not seedlings. I think they are pups. So something happened to the top of this plant, which you can kind of see, and I feel like that growth point stopped growing, and so instead it just pushed out pups. Oh, here's not Copiapoa. These are Mammillaria Huitzilopochtli from the Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed series. They are still alive. They're growing a little bit faster, but they're still very small. But again, as long as they're alive, I'm okay with it. Look at that spine color. More Lambeckis. And even more. These were featured in the Lazy Way to Grow Cactus from Seed series. Megarrhiza var echinata. This is Copiapoa Desertorum. These are part of those seeds that we sowed in the Lazy Way series. Some Coquimbana types, which I don't, oh, this one has a label. This one is the Coquimbana var echinata, and you can see the spine color versus the one next to it. So the imbricata tends to have that almost black spine. More Lambeckis. These are the KK70s. This is Coquimbana KK1388. Also some sort of Coquimbana. Not looking too happy. Still alive. These were amongst the survivors again. This was repotted when it was really hot, and then for some reason it didn't die like everybody else. But who knows? It might die eventually. This is a special plant because it was amongst those plants that I repotted. There were a whole set of them that I potted into these Daiso pots, and everything died except this one. This is Copiapoa wagonectii, 85.97. And I don't know how, but it managed to survive that die-off. It is one of my largest seedlings in terms of size. And it is a trooper. So perhaps this seedling, or perhaps this species, is good with the Arizona hot climate. I don't know. Okay, here's an example of more of that etiolation that I saw. That's so weird. Copiapoa Coquimbana. So I moved it from the shelf to the trays on this table to see if the Perhaps they get some more light here and it will stop doing that, but I don't know. More Lembeckis. More Lembeckis. Another one where I saw some signs of etiolation. Move them here. I don't know if it's going to make a difference. Same thing here. And here as well. All Lembeckis, we'll see. Look at the flowers on the Mystax. Mammillaria Mystax. That flower is unreal. They're not large, but they're really pretty. Alright, so happy 3 years to all of us here on Cookies Cacti on YouTube. I want to say a huge thank you to all of my viewers. You all are the reason why I'm still here. Because if nobody watched this channel and we didn't see much growth, I don't think I would have that motivation to continue making content. So I want to thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart, and all your support for Cookie. If you've watched all the challenges that we have encountered, not only with the plants, but with Cookie's health as well. So a huge thank you to you all. And as long as I have that motivation to keep making content, then we will continue watching all these plants do well or not well or grow up over the years. I'm hoping that my motivation does stay so that, 10 years down the line, we'll be doing 10-year, 13, 15-year, 20-year updates, but let's see. And I want to say, happy growing, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye. Ooh. What do we have here? I am really excited for this. Cookies Cacti magnets. So I customized these magnets with our Cookies Cacti logo. They are 3 inches in diameter. Let's test it out. It works! It looks pretty nice. I kept the front of it, just the logo, no text. And if you flip it to the back, it has the Cookies Cacti social media and Instagram and website stuff along the rim. Cookie, do you approve? Oh. What do you think? Cookie approved. Every magnet is blessed with good luck from Cookie. In celebration of our 3-year anniversary here on YouTube, I am holding a giveaway in which I will randomly pick 10 winners who I will mail your very own custom Cookies Cacti magnet to you. All you have to do is go onto my website, www.cookiescacti.com, go to the giveaway page, in which I will link in the description below, and submit the information there, and that will enter you into the drawing. The giveaway entry period will randomly end, so if you go to the website and the form is no longer valid, that means I have ended the giveaway submission period. So good luck to you all. Thank you again for all of your support.
this case, Mr. Wallace likes to have his fluids here on his sofa. So we've hung our bag, and the higher and farther away the bag of fluid is from the cat, the faster the flow. And that's good. We're gonna feel in my pocket. I will try and give a shape to 10 to the skin. And that is where my needle is going to go, right there in that tent. I'm gonna roll up my wheel.
I'm ready.
For a nice steady stream, which I've got baby food. And the whole time he gets fluids, I am nursing this syringe. Teeny tiny little squirts. And he just continues to look at it. And we'll make this work for the entire 150 ml don't care at all, because he gets this when he gets fluids. And it's the best part of his day. We're just about there, 150 mLs. So we're gonna roll our wheel down, we're gonna Cactus off. We're gonna put a fresh needle on. But first, we're gonna give Mr. Wallace the rest of his snacks. And that is how you make fluids positive. Fluids in his final state. So I'm going to lift the skin, angular shaped tent of his skin. And that is where my needle is going to go, right there in that tent. I'm gonna roll up my wheel. I'm gonna watch for a nice steady stream, which I've got, it's kind of like a faucet to get turned on. And then I'm gonna give Wally his favorite treat. So he's gonna lick at this syringe of Prescription Hills AD food, which is very syringeable and soft, like baby food. And the whole time he gets fluids, I am nursing this syringe. Teeny tiny little squirts. And he just continues to look at it. And we'll make this work for the entire 150 ml dose for him. He might get a little on your pants. Whatever makes it positive. While he's purring right now, which you probably can't hear or appreciate, but again, my whole point is that this does not have to be a nightmare. This does not have to be a production. Not every cat will respond this way, of course. But if we can find something they enjoy, it can be brushing, it can be food, it can be chin scratches, whatever works. Go ahead and roll our wheel down, take out our needle, and let it go. So now I'm going to give fluids to a cat. He doesn't really like getting fluids, no matter what I do to make it positive. I'm going to give fluids to charcoal in the scrub. The more I restrain him, the more I attempt to hold him still, the worse he is. One of the best things I've found for charcoal is vigorous chin scratching. It's really the only thing that keeps him from trying to leave and get away. If I hold onto the scruff of his neck, he does not like that. He tries to back up. So now I'm going to let him come over here. He can move around. He just can't leave. That was excellent. It's almost like we planned that. So if he does try to escape quite a bit, I'll give him food for a few minutes, but it won't suffice for the entire time generally. But we'll let him have some of that young syringeable canned food. And as you can see, the other vultures are approaching. But we just have to find a way to tough love it. Just 3 minutes of displeasure for